In 1989, Phaedra Harrison, Carl Woods, and Keith Grady banded together and started the Barnes Feeding Ministry. The idea was to provide a weekly meal for seniors and others in the neighborhood with healthy, hot, and home-cooked food. Members of the congregation donated their time, talent, and recipes to the effort. The meal was served every Wednesday evening in the church's fellowship hall promptly at 5 p.m. Word spread quickly about the delicious meals, and people started coming from other areas of the city to join in with the locals. Soon, because of the need, it was decided to increase the service from just Wednesdays to also have a meal on Sunday. After the deaths of Mr. Woods and Mr. Grady, Mrs. Deborah Dupay became leader of the ministry. Under her leadership, teams were formed. The teams were assigned dates to prepare and serve the meals. 2 years ago, Reverend Hobart Perry took the reins of the group. In order to unify the volunteers, Reverend Perry and Mrs. Dupay arranged for the volunteers to receive food handlers certification. A partnership was also formed with Second Helpings. Second Helpings is a community-based organization whose mission is to feed anyone that is in need of a meal. Presently, Brother Kenny Scott and Ms. Annetta Willis are leading the group. A mini service is held at every meal. A short sermon is given along with prayer. Time is also allotted for participants to share about their walk with God. Communion is offered also. Some of our guests have become members of Barnes and serve faithfully with the ministry. It is estimated that the church has served well over 5,000 meals and averages about 50 people weekly. In conjunction with the feeding ministry, the clothing ministry offers clothes to the people. This ministry was started over 10 years ago by Mrs. Doris Hall and Mr. Lois Thomas. These ladies provided clean clothing items to adults and children. After Mrs. Hall's death, the ministry is now headed by Ms. Linda Hazelwood. A linkage has been formed with Dress to Success by Ms. Hazelwood. Also, she established an emergency closet for people needing clothing for proms, weddings, funerals, and other events. In Matthew 14 and 15, Mark 9, and John 6, we find Jesus taking little and feeding many. And so it is in the intent of these ministries. At this time, we would like to recognize Mrs. Elaine Grady, wife of Mr. Pete Grady. Number 2, Reverend Hobart Perry. Mrs. Deborah Dupay. The family of Mrs. Doris Hall. Mrs. Dolores Thomas. As we light these candles for our fallen and for our present leaders that saw and made real the dream of helping others, can we bow our heads in prayer? All-seeing God, help us to see others how you see us, as treasures to love and neighbors to serve. Teach us to serve others as you did in your life on earth. Amen.